Alright guys, today I really wanted to go over the orb again. I have made videos in the past of different versions of it, but this version specifically is what I've been teaching my students for around 6 months now. We are going to go over two versions today though. We're going to go over the basic one that I have been teaching and also a different option, just kind of diving back into it, explaining it briefly. Obviously there are some basics of trading to learn way before hopping into a strategy, but just kind of wanted to update these videos and lessons and stuff like that, especially now starting in this new Discord with actual education and stuff like that. Um, so yeah. So the first one we're going to look at is the 15-minute orb. First thing you want to do is obviously find your bias. If you guys don't know how to do that yet, there will be videos coming, or you can, search it up on YouTube. That's first things first before you try to trade anything. You need a bias. You want to trade with your bias. You want to trade with the trend. Stands for opening range breakout. So what you want to do on the 15-minute orb is mark out the first 15-minute candle of market open. Market open is 9:30, okay, EST. So wherever you are, it might be the afternoon, whatever, but first 15-minute candle, 9:30 a.m. So realistically, you're marking it out at 9:45. As you see here, we have marked out the first 15-minute candle. This is our first 15-minute candle. Then we want to drop down to the 5-minute. This is where we're looking for our entries, okay? Now, in a perfect scenario, what the orb is, what you're truly looking for is a break of that range and then a retest of it. Obviously, there are different entry models for this, for different scenarios, but I don't want to complicate it, so we're going to stick with that because that's truly where you're going to get the best entries. So, as you see here, we have a break of the orb. When we're looking for a break, we want a full candle to close outside of it. You don't want just a wick outside of the range. You want a candle to close, like we have right here, right? Now, realistically, some would argue that, okay, we have this break and then we have a retest right here. We don't want to enter off of that. We want to wait and make sure that we are getting a good, solid retest. We want to give price time to move out of the zone, come back, and actually retest it. As you see, we are retesting the zone. It at times will come up to this 50%. We will see that later on. This is just the halfway mark of our orb. Okay, so you have a retest, right? Price is clearly retesting the zone. Now, what do you want next? You want a candle to close, right? We don't want to set a limit here for when price comes because we don't know if it's going to continue through. We want to wait for confirmation. So we want that candle to close. So you have option one. This candle retests. This candle closes outside. It's a little iffy for me. I would probably wait for this candle right here if I'm a beginner, right? But either way, this would be somewhat of our entry, okay? Now, price did not retest the 50% mark of the zone, so most of the time when this does happen, that's where my stop loss would be. If we would come up and test this, I would probably have my stop loss at the top of the orb, but if it does not even come retest this, and if we look here and how much it's already rejecting it prior, stop loss is fine there. Aim for a recent low. You have a perfect trade play out here. If we look at another example, same idea right here. We had marked up our first 50-minute candle or your first 3 5-minute candles. Now, you will see that price did come out here, right? That's okay. We're trading with our bias. In this scenario, we are looking for buys. Bias was determined before I started this video, don't worry. Therefore, what are we waiting for? We are waiting for a break towards the upside, a retest, and then get in for the trade. You will see sometimes price will even come here, close here, play around here, then come break here and give you the retest. That is fine. You're not entering those trades below because you're not looking for sells. You're looking for buys. That is fine. Market needs to move around, it needs to move around. So what do we have here? We have a break. And no, we don't have this huge move here, but we have several candles break outside of the zone, which makes it a valid break. Now we have a candle come close right outside of that. As you see, we did retest that 50%, right? Therefore, my stop loss is going at the bottom of the orb and then aiming for recent highs, recent areas of interest, etc. That is all there is to the strategy, guys. You want to make sure you're finding your bias. You're trading within your bias, right? You want to make sure you're probably marking out key levels on higher time frames, stuff like that. I don't want to complicate it too much. If you guys are watching this video, you've probably seen, the basics of trading, meaning bias, key levels, higher time frame, fair value gaps, stuff like that. But this, for the most part, I want to make this video because we are going to be trading this live together. I want you guys to have somewhat of an idea what's going on, because it's important that you guys are on the live and kind of understanding what you're looking at. I don't want you guys to get there and you have completely no idea what is going on. So that is the basics of our 15-minute orb. Obviously, again, in the live sessions, we will go over key levels. We will do all that. We mark that all out together. But for basics, this is what it is. This is what you're looking at. 2-3 simple steps, right? Your range, breakout, a retest, candle closure, enter, boom. Now, if we want to look at the other example, it's the same exact idea, except it's just 5 minute. So instead of 15-minute range, 5-minute entry, it's all just 5 minute. You mark out your first 5-minute candle at 9:30 after finding your bias, and it's the same exact idea. You wait for a break and retest, or a lot of the time, because it is a 5-minute orb, your zone is a little bit smaller. Obviously, 15-minute would be like this or like this, right? So your zone is a lot smaller. Price might not come all the way back down. So what you can look for is a retest of a fair value gap in that scenario. We're going to look at more. As you guys see here, like I said earlier, right? If price comes out of your orb in the opposite direction of your bias, that is fine. You're not paying attention to it. That's not what you're looking for, right? So as you see here, we have the 5-minute opening range. Price is moving around. We have a break here. As you see here, price just comes back here. That's why we don't have an entry, right? We don't have a solid confirmation candle that closes to tell us, yes, get in for yourself. What we do have is a fair value gap right here being tested. So you have your fair value gap created. It's tested here, it's tested here, it's tested a whole bunch here. You can realistically enter off of any of these, but again, what you're waiting for is a candle closure, right? We are looking for sells. This bearish candle closes. When I enter off of a fair value gap scenario, I put my stop loss at the top of that fair value gap a lot of the time, especially because sometimes the fair value gap is not so close to the orb zone. And then what are you doing? You're aiming for lows, you're aiming for these lows, you're aiming, for whatever areas of interest. Now, like every other strategy, this does not play out 100% of the time. No strategy has a 100% win rate. Obviously, if that was the case, everyone would be rich. But it is what it is. It happens. As you see here, same scenario, we are looking for sells. This is our 5-minute orb. We get a closure below. Yes, we have a tad bit of retest here. Not enough to confirm an entry. So what do? We wait for a fair value gap, right, to be created and then retested. As you see here, it is tested. It is rejected. Rejected again. We have a candle closure outside of it. Why did I not enter here? Because these are not rejection candles. There's no wicks. There's no, a rejection candle. You want to see something like this. You want to see wicks. You want to see that price is coming in this range and getting pushed back down. So we have a wick candle here, closure outside, enter, stop loss at the top of that fair value gap, aiming for recent lows, right? It's simple, guys. And again, some days you might not get entries. As you see here, there's no entries. If there's no entries, you don't enter. It is that simple. Same idea here, right? We are looking for sells. In this scenario, we ignore this. Price breaks, retests here. That's not enough for me. For movement and volume, we wait for the fair value gap. It's tested here. Did not enter here because we do not have a bearish closure. The next bearish candle is this with a huge wick to the downside, which for me, not good. So we wait and enter on a good bearish closure, right? Same exact idea. Yes, see, in this scenario, price does come back to the orb. That will happen. It will test either your orb or it will test your fair value gap if you are doing it with the 5-minute orb. And that is fine. It's the same exact idea, right? We have price come out of this zone. Price rejects this. Not huge wicks, but we do see that price is already wicking all the way here. And if we look at this overall time frames, this is an area of interest or support or whatever you want to call it. So we have those rejections right here, a candle closure right outside of that, and we are targeting highs. It is pretty simple. It might look complicated at first glance if you aren't trading it, if you're completely new, if you don't know much about trading, but I promise it is not that complicated. They're all 1, 2, or 3 simple steps. And the reason why, honestly, I suggested this strategy and decided to teach this one specifically is just because I find that out of all strategies I've come across in my time, this has been the most simple, the least amount of steps. There's no crazy indicators needed. You find your range, you wait for your solid confirmations, and then you enter. That's that. If there is no entry, you don't enter, you don't force a trade. It's very black and white. And so I thought it would be really good for beginners, especially because a lot of people in my education are completely new to trading. And I mean, so many people trade the orb. So many of the biggest traders trade the orb. There's a bunch of versions of it. A lot of them, if not all of them, are super successful, good win rates, stuff like that. But again, like every other strategy, you want to make sure that you are taking quality setups. You want to wait for your confirmations. You want to follow your rules. If you're not doing those things, then yeah, your win rate is probably not great. It's not the strategy that's the problem. Most of the time, it's the trader themselves, right? So that's why I chose to show this strategy and focus on this one with the team because, again, simple steps. You can't really mess it up if you're following all your rules. So that's going to be that for the video. I hope you guys, take this in, take in some beginner education. I'm going to put some suggestions of stuff also of what to look at until I can get my own content out. I think it's really important for, you guys to have some sort of knowledge before hopping into lives when we're fully trading. But I think this is going to be really cool, really good experience, really good change. So I hope this was helpful. I hope to see you guys in my live sessions. And as always, happy trading.